What happened?
I mean, okay, look, my alternator's broken, right? My bus is parked in the middle of the fucking road at registration. I need to go on the internet to, like, try to see how I'm gonna make money and figure out what I'm gonna do. Talk to certain people, just like I need support, and this guy is all like, last night I was telling him about my situation. He's like, Alex, I want to help you. I want to, like, make sure people know what you're doing. I want, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool, this guy understands. And today I'm on the computer trying to get my stuff handled, trying to get a phone number from Google Voice, trying to look up, like, how much an alternator is and stuff. And he gets pissed off because I'm not talking to him and hanging out with him. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. We're an artist. We don't get 9 to 5. We don't get breaks. We don't get the weekends. It's like now. It's like we deal with it now when we have to deal with it and we get it done. So we can move on to the next bigger picture, And he doesn't understand that. And then he got pissed off. And then he told me to get the fuck out. This is what happened with my landlord, too. He was like, Alex, you don't do anything. You don't have a job. You don't work. And blah. And I was like, why is that your problem? Why do you care? Why the fuck do you care if I don't have a job?
Maybe they cared, though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Maybe they did care.
They did.
Maybe they were concerned about you.
They are. It's not my problem. Not my problem, And I care. Like, I care about people, and I care about, like, their opinions and how they are and how they're doing. But if I'm like, don't worry about me, then I'm really asking you, please just leave me alone. Like, I don't need more friends. Like, I don't want more friends. Like, I want to be alone and make music and be happy. But at the same time, if you ask me for help, I'll be there, But if I'm not asking for help, please don't give it to me. Because it's becoming a burden. I'm trying to get rid of burdens.
You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to be a beast of burden.
Where do you think I should go? Where are you from, Oklahoma?
From Texas.
You're from Texas? How perfect is that, right? We have so much in common. He likes homeless people, and I like homeless people too. I hang out at Skid Row sometimes. Like, I'll ride my bike down there a couple times, and I'll always ride there at super late at night because that's when they're always there, like around 11 p.m. And I'll just cruise really slowly and listen to what people are talking about and seeing what they're doing. It's so funny. Like, they have these little homes, the shopping carts, and it's funny because it looks like trash. Everything they own looks like trash, but they're so protective. It's like, it's my trash. It's mine. It's my tent, But everyone's getting along. There's people. Like, there's boyfriends. There's love. There's friendships. There's friends. And it's like, it's almost funny because it's almost like a real society in a society that the other society doesn't want to believe exists. And I've noticed this about Los Angeles in particular, is that there are two sides to it. There's the upper class and there's the lower class. Like, that's simple to imagine, right? But this is how bad it is. The upper class people want to industrialize and build apartments and, companies and gas stations and car lots. And they're all gray and they're white and they're boring and they're squares with small windows and no art, And the rich people get to go to these clubs and bars and resorts, and it's beautiful. They're so beautiful, but you need money to go. So now we look at the lower class. What do they get? What do the lower class get? They get the ghettos. They get the bad schools. They can't afford to go eat at nice restaurants. And you know what the lower class people do? Do you know what they do to keep themselves happy? They make music. They make art, and they want to paint. And they want to do graffiti, and they want to make murals. And they want to dance on the streets. They want to have parties in warehouses, abandoned warehouses, with DJs coming in with live music. They want to get spray paint and, drop pictures on walls, They want to color the city. And they band together and they have, it's just like, it's just hilarious. But the fact that these lower class people cannot go into nice restaurants and resorts. And then the upper class just want to paint the whole city gray and white and industrial, It's like, who do you think has it right,
Exactly. Who's living the way they want to live? Because they can.
It's amazing, and I find it hilarious when people like pity me, and they sympathize, and I'm like, dude, I'm way happier than you. Like, I'm fucking stoked on life, like. It's so funny, like, just like the hypocrisy of everything is just like never ceases to amaze me,
You're a younger version of me.
And that's what everyone says too, though, like, that I'm too young. I'm too young. I'm too young.
You're starting out young.
I'm not that young. I'm 22.
No, you're young.
I'm turning 23.
It's okay. You're still young.
I don't think I'm that young.
There's nothing wrong with being young. It's a starting point. That's what it is.
Do you know where I was when I was 16?
I have no idea.
When I was 16, I was homeless. I've been homeless since I was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You're so
By
serious?
choice, though. By choice.
Okay.
I was like, my mom wanted to beat me, and she was a verbal abuser, but she comes from an Asian culture. It's completely normal. It's not abnormal whatsoever.
Chinese?
Korean.
Yeah.
But in our culture, the parents are law. If they want to beat you up because you have a bad grade, it's normal to us. And it's funny to, like, people who don't understand that culture. They're like, it's evil. But I'm like, no, it's not evil. It's different. It's different. That's what it is. And I always found it funny when I was 16 when my friends were like, my mom won't let me go to a dance party, or my mom won't let me dress the way I do. And my situation wasn't any different from theirs, except in my head, I was like, fuck you. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. There's no way you're going to stop me. So, especially when it came with, like, if my mom was going to beat me because I had a bad grade, I'd be like, you're crazy. I'm not going to live here if you think that me getting a bad grade deserves me getting beaten. I'm gonna leave. So I ran away all the time. And when you're 16, you can't stay with your friends' parents. Like, you can, but it's just weird. It's awkward. They feel like they're gonna get in trouble because you're a parent. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's not fun. So what I used to do is break into homes that were for real estate. Because, like, they keep the electricity, they keep the water going, there's the lights on, and they're empty, and there's a real estate sign in front. So I'd break into these places, and I'd sleep there during the night. Or I'd sleep at parks and stuff. And you know what I learned? I learned, like, you know what? Like, you always have a choice. That's where I was when I was 16.
So you're a veteran.
When I was 18, I was selling drugs. I was doing drugs all the time. But it was all for the name of fun, I wasn't selling drugs because I wanted to do drugs. I was selling drugs because it's like, because of these drug laws, poor people, there's no escape, like, they can't, if they have no education, if they have no skill, how are they going to get a job? And if they have children, if they're getting pregnant, how are they going to support their kids, And since there's drug laws, drugs, make a lot of money. Drugs make a lot of money. And we're talking about, like, ecstasy, acid,
The
like,
fun stuff.
The fun stuff.
Not the crack.
No.
Not the methamphetamines.
Nope.
Crystal
Ecstasy.
meth.
Do you know what ecstasy does?
I'm afraid to know. I've heard of it.
Ecstasy changed my life. It made me love again. It made me love people. It did. It really did. Because before then I was a punk rocker. And all I wanted to do was destroy and break shit and steal and beat people up because, I'm homeless. I'm 17. No, my school kicked me out. I was in AP English, I was in AP History. I was, in a very high math class. I was playing tennis, I was doing track and field. Do you know why they kicked me out? Because my dress code. They didn't like the way I dressed. Okay?
Too punk?
No, not even too punk. It was just like my stomach would show a little bit. My shirt was too tight. My bra straps were showing. So they gave me detention. I always went to detention. I didn't care. But they got to a point. Oh, and I was very opinionated. Like, if I didn't agree with what my teacher was saying, I would disagree. So they sent me to the office, and then they kicked me out. So my school obviously didn't give a shit about me. My mom didn't give a shit about me. Society didn't give a shit about me. And then I took ecstasy. And I took ecstasy with a bunch of people, And I
It opened your heart up again? taught you to love again?
Taught me to love. It taught me love existed. Before then, I did not know. My father abandoned me when I was 8. My mother was never around. She was beating me. My school didn't give a shit. My society didn't give a shit, right? I took ecstasy, and now I'm living on a school bus. Isn't that funny? And I didn't realize that till right now, too. You know? That's exactly what happened.
Just realized it just now? Would you recommend it?
Oh, yeah. I've been trying to get my mom to do it for years. Years. I'm not saying you should. I mean, I recommend it, but I'm not saying you should. Only because that you take medication. And you have problems. When you have problems, you don't want to do drugs. That's like when you don't want to have drugs. Once you figure everything out and you feel settled and like...
I'm trying to remember, there was a story about somebody taking ecstasy with his wife. I think it's a famous case. I can't remember who it is, but he did it to save his marriage.
Yeah, that's why it was invented. Ecstasy was invented by what do they call those? Not psychologists, but psychiatrists, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was made for counseling for people with marriage problems. And what ecstasy would do is it would open up your heart and it'd make you. It was a truth drug. Even the government used it.
Yeah.
Because it makes you tell the truth. And it makes you not care. And on top of all that, it makes you want to love the person next to you. Whoever is around you, you will love them unconditionally, without a doubt. And you will pour your heart out. And you're not scared anymore. And you just, all you want is just to be liked. And you just want to like someone. It's just really intense. It's a huge culture right now. There are 13-year-old girls taking 5 pills a day.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, in
That's
lingerie.
Not good, though, that age? Is it good?
No, but that's what LA's been doing since the 70s, you know? Taking shit ton of drugs while they're young.
Oh my God.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't.
You don't?
I think as soon as you take someone's choice away, I think that's when it's a bad thing.
I'm ready for a cigarette. Are you?
Me too.
You want to close that?